Welcome back to the longest running series I got going on right now, The Letter. Today, episode 20. We are Ashton. We are down to our last two people, Ashton and Luke. We're trying to make sense of it all, but last time there was, we think there's a conspiracy going on here between the chief and the Wrights and possibly this manor. So we're trying to delve deep into it, but I had to pick an option I didn't like last time because Ashton's a fuck. But regardless, we'll continue our story.
I saw an old friend and I thought I'd catch up. Didn't really notice how long our chat got. You know what they say about time flying when you're having fun, and Lloyd is a fun guy.
She doesn't look convinced at all. Although she's the very picture of someone who's at least willing to listen, her glare effectively takes a good 20 off my current years. I feel like a kid again, being reprimanded by my junior high teacher for sleeping in class. But getting away with this is easier than with this one. That is easier. It's the thing with someone you've been friends with for so long. They're the ones who know you inside out. Good grades wouldn't be enough for Rebecca to let this whole thing slide.
This Lloyd is a friend of yours who was at the party.
Why do they have,
we go way back in the police academy.
Why do they have her boobs jiggle so much?
You wouldn't have met him.
All natural.
See, he mostly deals with teenagers and gets into a lot of messy stuff and...
Cut the shite. You're not a very good storyteller, Ash. Don't try to make up a character just so that you can lie to me.
Why did I ever think this is a good idea? Although I'm not making those people up, only twisting the facts for someone who's already angry beyond reason, everything will sound like an excuse.
I'm not making stuff up. I did have a college mate named Lloyd. I think you would have liked him. You're both Scottish. He used to hang out a lot with Joey and Rashid, but they went off to work in London. Bunch of good guys. I should really ask if they're swinging by Lux anytime soon.
That doesn't make things any better.
I agree.
You were there because I invited you, and you just up and turned your nose from me. You might as well have disappeared completely for all you cared. Just say you don't want to talk about it instead of lying to my face.
I do feel guilty still. We've already been down this road. This is something I've done so repeatedly in the past, something she's heard from me more times than all my fingers can count. Something I'll just have to get over with at this moment.
I'm sorry, you know that, Becca. I really, really am. I wouldn't do this shit if I didn't have a good reason to.
And you know that I don't like you lying to me! If you can't tell the truth, just don't say anything and shut your gob! I swear, Ashton Frey, you are just so dense!
It's my relationship with her? It's back to normal.
I'm so angry, I can't even bear to look at you right now because I swear I'll knock you right off your block! I mean, what good reason could you have to act like an antisocial asshole? The only time you did talk to me was to spout some vague nonsense about Luke. What was that all about? Were you somehow expecting me to just accept everything as it is?
You really shouldn't go near that man, Becca.
Why? Because you don't trust him. I wonder if you actually trust anyone. Aside from the three of us, Zach, Isabella, and myself, do you even have any other friends? If you're perfectly fine with that, then go ahead. No one is stopping you. But don't expect me to share the same views. I can have a life of my own, friends that I don't necessarily share with you. I'm an adult, Ashton. And I can make my own bloody decisions. I sure as hell can choose the people I want to let into my life.
Of course, she's allowed to do as she pleases. I've never mentioned she couldn't. Us growing up together doesn't mean it always has to just be the two of us. It's a dumb idea to believe in when nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change through the years. She'll make friends with people outside of our little circle. I'm just free to form relationships with other people. But why of all people did it have to be him? Why does it have to be Luke Wright? That guy is nothing but trouble. How can she defend a guy like that? She's already calling him Luke, for Pete's sake.
I trust Zach, I trust Isabella, and I trust you, Rebecca. So why can't you trust me on this? You need to stay away from that man, because he's... I really wish I could tell you.
You can! You're off the fucking case! What was the saying Isabel mentioned before? A liar is a brother of a thief? People who look at me now will probably say I'm a hair's breadth away from being a criminal. Z-Man said something like that once, a few years into our friendship. I laughed it off back then, but now... They're probably right. Little by little, I'm becoming the very kind of person I hate. Oh, ironic. The silence afterwards brings an even heavier air between us. Something that Rebecca thankfully doesn't allow to linger more than necessary.
I suppose you have to go now, huh?
The situation's already awkward as it is. Dragging this out will only make it more, what? Difficult? Messed up? As if it isn't already.
Back to your case again?
I don't really have to. I have no case. As far as the job is concerned, I have the weekend off till I have to report to Chief on Monday. Then tell her that! Although I don't want to just throw in the towel on this. Orders are orders. This isn't like the movies. I don't get to say fuck off, throw my gun and badge at him, become some vigilante, save the day, and get my job back. But you can. Rather get my ass thrown in jail than do any of that. But it's also not in my nature to sit still and do nothing. It'll drive me crazy if I just idle about. Take her with us. Besides, there's someone who has to know about this whole Luke Wright thing.
Yeah, I need to go talk to Professor Clark. And there's something else I need to look into.
That other matter she mentioned last night, specifically, things even the news have been blasting out in the general populace lately. Evening, afternoon, morning, all deaths with the same modus, blamed on a single serial killer, or is it still the case?
In the early hours of the morning today, the fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Loch Swan Police.
We're grasping at straws as far as these murders are concerned. In the first place, I'm not even the one heading this investigation, yet look at me treating it as if it's another high-profile case on my shoulder. How sad is that? Although all three of my friends have mentioned seeing something strange, I don't want to get into the line of thinking for now. Not yet, not until I've exhausted every logical argument I could throw at it. To be honest though, I don't know how to take all of this anymore. But I've already given Isabel my word. It'd bother me more if I didn't follow up on a promise I made to her. And after Rebecca's claims last night, there won't be enough sarcasm in the world if what my friends have been telling me is true. I can already hear Isabella's laughter, in fact.
Figures. What else can it be?
It's not another case. It's something else. That issue Isabella mentioned yesterday morning. I'm sure you remember. You were there.
Well, at least you're not neglecting all your friends.
Oh,
Becca, I promised her I'll...
she doesn't wait for me to finish. With a roll of her eyes, she turns around and shuts the door in my face. I have no idea what I've said this time, but
I probably deserve that.
we'll just have to fix this some other time. By then, her temper's sure to have cooled off significantly. Because you're talking about, hopefully, it's because you're talking about Isabella, and, you know, she loves you! For now, I can't laze around. Gotta attend to things that matter more. Professor Clark first, deliver the bad news, then the issue with BRC and Isabella. Maybe I'll also drop by Zach's, check on him, hear what he has to say. Might as well while I'm here. Playing a paranormal detective, or was it supernatural? I can't remember. Whatever, it wouldn't hurt anyone if I tried to get to the bottom of this. Nothing comes out of this good. Everyone can shut up about stupid curses and we can finally get back on track with our lives. On to more important stuff. There is something.
Are you two done?
There's a moment of confusion when I don't see her familiar ponytail about, only to find her standing behind the door to our apartment seconds later. Isabella holds it open, though only slightly, as if to hide from anyone who might have happened to pass by. This early and on a lazy weekend, I doubt. But from the gape and little light there is behind her, I can make out the appearance of someone who has just clearly gotten off from bed. Hair is completely disarray, eyes still heavy with sleep, and a small pout on her lips. She hasn't even gotten out of her pajamas. I look away long before my sense of decorum kicks in. We might be friends, I'll even dare say we've grown closer over the years, but that doesn't extend beyond the bounds of propriety. Christ, even Rebecca never greets early visitors in her sleep clothes. Though maybe it's our fault. She's up this early. Still, he makes a slow crawl up my neck, and I quickly downplay with a solid.
Isabella, you're up early.
Lame.
No, I'm not. I'm usually up at this hour. You're the one that usually sucks at getting up early.
Says the person who looks like she's just fallen out of bed.
Instead of the usual quip, she simply averts her gaze to some point beside her. Although it only flashes briefly across her face, an expression of hurt disappears the second she turns her attention back to me, but that moment has sent a worried twinge in my stomach. Ashton, quit being such a dick! I've seen it on her face plenty times before, just never in a manner that unsettles. It feels, I don't know, off this time. I didn't say anything wrong, did I?
Hey, are you...
Anyway, was that Becca with you? You both sound like Mama and Papa when they fight. You're awfully loud. If we get another memo from the landlady, I'm asking the guard to ban you from ever entering this place.
Me? Becca's the one almost shouting.
Yeah, well, she lives here. You don't. You have no excuse. You're the suspicious-looking person.
Thanks. Glad at least one person appreciates how I pretty up this place.
Don't flatter yourself. This place would be so much better without having to see your face every few days.
Ooh, she follows it up with another pout. But her ruffled appearance, particularly how puffy her eyes are, I noticed just now, takes away from the intimidating effect she's trying to show. Really, right now, she just looks more like an angry puppy. I might have laughed had it not given me another nagging sense that something is definitely wrong with her. What, has she been crying earlier? That is worrying. She rarely does that. The only time it happened, the one time I've ever seen her genuinely tear up over something, I think it was after Devlin Court, the night at the bridge. I want to ask. She seems determined to keep it to herself, though.
Belle, did something...
About yesterday, Ash. The things we talked about. Do you think we can take a look at it today?
We? I never said you're coming with me.
God damn it, Ashton, I'm
Don't
gonna
worry.
kick your
I
fucking
didn't forget
ass.
about it. You'll be the first to know if I find anything.
No, I want to go with you. I'll be ready in a few. This won't take long.
Isabella, you really don't have to. I can handle it on my own. You'll just...
I won't get in the way, I promise. Besides, maybe I can help. You know, if there are files you want to check.
I don't like what she's implying. It's true, LPD's having a hard time with this, but taking Isabel with me, it's out of the question. Under normal circumstances...
You're the one who's going to get in trouble if you do that.
You said it yourself. You need information, and I can help you get that. And it's not like it matters anymore. I just don't want to stand around doing nothing today.
There it is again. Slight shift in her eyes, the mild crease forming between her eyebrows, and the mild slump in her shoulders, while she crosses her arms tightly around herself, like she's shielding herself from whatever painful thing there is out here. I have plenty of reasons why I shouldn't let her tag along. First and foremost, she's a civilian. Second, I have no concrete plan of action, yet I'm going into this blind. No matter how I look at it, it's simply better for her just to wait so she won't get dragged into what might be another one of my failures. Her assumptions might be a dead end for all we know, but seeing that expression on her, hearing her speak those words out loud in a desperate, almost pleading tone, I can't bring myself to say no. So I give in because right there, I see myself in her. Hold on, I'll be right back, guys. Alright, I'm back. Let's continue. The person who doesn't want to stay idle, who doesn't want to think of the problems haunting him.
All right, 5 minutes.
What? You're timing me?
Well, I can't wait forever. I'm a very busy guy. 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Isabella.
I hate you so much. I'm taking back what I said last week. You haven't changed at all.
4 minutes and 30 seconds, 29, 28. I'd hurry if I were you.
Ugh, you're awful! I hope you never get a girlfriend.
She slams the door right after, although my chuckles, the mirth and the lightness in it linger. With her, those have always come easy somehow, even as the echoes fades and the only ghost of a smile remains.
It's not like I'm looking for anyone else.
I want to tell her. It's not because I can't. I won't. I'm the one who has chosen not to until I fixed myself, until I found myself underneath all that guilt and those lies I've been telling all these years. Because no matter how heavy the weight of these feelings are, I am not yet worthy of them. Of her. Until then, little words and gestures are the only things I can offer. Minor stuff such as digging deeper into this thing with BRC in order to ease her worries. I'm not even sure if this will give us anything. Like with the firm case, which I already have proper leads on, I'm just going by her word on this. Speaking of the Luxborn firm case, I still have to inform the professor. The apprehension's there for sure. I've made a lot of promises to the man, and I would have preferred to tell him in person, not over the phone, but it's better for him to hear it from me rather than from a stranger. The railings offer steady support while I wait for him to answer. I'd like to think I can do this without losing my nerve. My grip on the bar surely tightens, though, once the call connects.
Ashton!
Not running today, Professor?
He's usually at the park on late Saturday morning, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs. Keeps him young and healthy, he says, and certainly fit for a man of this age with a sedentary job.
Oh, no, not today.
He's definitely at the usual place, though. Cheers and laughter, likely from children and families, filter through the receiver. I tend to avoid the park precisely because of this. No use reminding myself of the could-haves when it's already over. Mom's doing well with her career. Dad's also fine the last time I visited, although neither remarried. They're both content with their lives as it is. I'm probably the only one still caught up with it, hence my aversion. But all in all, it's still a pleasant sight to see if you're the kind who takes joy in such sights like Professor
Just
Clark
thought I'd
does.
enjoy the nice weather before it takes a turn for the norm again. Not to what do I owe the pleasure?
The guy certainly seems happy right now in any case. I almost don't want to break the news to him. But it's better to get this off quick as long as he doesn't shoot the messenger. He's not the type, however. Long-held resentment could change a person, even someone as mild-mannered as the professor.
I was hoping to talk to you about the case.
I suppose I'm just the downer today. As soon as I say those words, he pauses and the lightness in his voice is gone in an instant. Every time we've talked about this in the past, he does that, probably trying to gauge the situation based on the tone of my voice. Perhaps it's a good thing I'm delivering this news through the phone. Who knows what you'll see in my face and my mannerisms. The art of keen observation, I learned it from the man. Probably already has an idea of what this might be about from my manner of speaking alone.
You aren't in trouble, are you?
For a second I hesitate, looking at the dirt beneath my shoes. But I manage eventually. After a long, ragged draw of breath, I pick up where I've left off, though still fumbling with my words.
Well, I'm in a bit of trouble, if you can call it that.
Ashton!
He only assumes that tone when there's a reprimand at its heels.
But I'm not in danger or anything.
You've said that same excuse a million times before, Detective Inspector. That exhaustive rasp in your voice tells a different story.
It's nothing like what you're thinking. Don't worry. I was just... I was taken off the Luxborn firm case.
I expect anger, frustration, but all it gives me is a small sigh of relief.
Well, at least you aren't in danger.
That man's really trying for those out there.
Liz wouldn't be too happy if she heard you right now.
Liz? Aunt Liz, she insisted I call her his late wife. A sweet-tempered woman by so many standards that will never blessed with kids and contented herself with simply managing their bakery. But she's the closest I've had to a mom in the first few years I've known her, the professor. In the absence of my own parents in my life, the two filled the ache their divorce left in me.
Believe me, you'd get an earful. You don't want to show up on her doorstep looking like you haven't slept a wink either.
How many years has it been since? 9? 10? I can still remember it vividly. Two men, primly dressed, briefcases in hand, and a stern look on each of their faces. They were already frequent visitors to the bakery for a few months. Something about the lot being a prime property in downtown Luxbourne. I think they were hoping to settle a deal with them, but neither of the couple gave in to their demands. Why should they? The quaint little shop was a dream for them. Aunt Liz sent me home early that night after a fruitless wait for the professor. The next morning, news of a bakery razed to the ground had spread across the whole city. One casualty. A few weeks later, the property was sold to Wright Enterprise. A fucking hotel now stands in its place. Of course, an investigation was launched after the incident. The name Luke Wright was briefly at the center of it, but with the lack of any evidence, the case ultimately went cold. The professor hides it well, however I can tell that he hates the man to this day. Might even blame Luke Wright for every tragedy that happens in the city. He's never blamed me, though, when I was equally responsible. I knew something's off the moment those men stepped inside the shop. I could have saved her that night. I could have prevented anything from happening to her, called for help or whatever. I didn't. So it continues to eat at me until today. It's guilt. The Luxbourne firm case would have been our chance at reopening that old case if we could prove Luke Wright's of his crimes. Instead, we're back to square one. Yet all he has for me are words of comfort. To think he can still be this concerned about me after my carelessness, after I've broken another promise a second time. People never cease to amaze
you might
me.
think that you have failed as an officer. Or maybe you think that you have failed me. And you know more than anyone. I would love to see that man taken down. If anyone deserves to be tried in high court, it's him. But I'm glad nothing's happened to you while you were working on this. That's what's most important. I'd hate to get news like that again.
Suddenly, he stops. I imagine a thoughtful-looking flash in his eyes as he thumbs the wedding band on his ring finger before he continues. Another habit. He has never removed it since that day, has never thought once to remarry, even when he managed to continue his life and return some semblance of normalcy. It's his way of honoring her, I suppose, when he couldn't bring to justice the man responsible for his loss. Some people are just hard
It's
to
not
forget.
like another death. Yours or even his. Will bring back my wife.
Silence falls between us afterwards. I don't quite know what to say after that, really. Should I apologize, show some sympathy going into this? I should have thought of something other than just breaking the news to him. As it is, it seems the only thing we can do is feel sorry for each other's misfortunes.
I apologize too, for putting you up to this.
In another occasion, under different circumstances, I might have accepted that, but
You didn't have to, but you've already done more than any officer who has investigated this. So don't worry about this, old man. I know your department's people all have their hands full recently too. What with the upsetting news we've been getting as of late. Deaths almost every day. I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do with the other. It seems too big even for someone like him. But if this is that man's doing,
Professor, please.
maybe if things around me hadn't started going beyond my control, the letter, the mansion, the supposed curse behind those, I'd still be quick to blame it all on that. But as much as I want to keep holding him responsible for it, to add another to his list of sins, it might not be the case. Agreeing will only cut a deeper wound on the professor. I don't want him to keep clinging to this resentment for much longer. He has already gone through so many years of it. This kind of anger, it's the sort that blinds people. Despite his reassurances, the bitterness still seeps into every syllable he utters. It's one thing for me to act like this. It's painful to watch someone I've considered a second father to go down this path.
Please don't apologize. It's really all right. I can try to get it back on Monday when I meet with the chief. No promises, but if not, I'll make sure to keep an ear out for any news. Chief said he's passing it on to a senior officer. I should be able to catch a few tidbits every once in a while. But I swear I won't just give up on this. I'll do everything in my power to get Aunt Liz's case reopened for you.
Promises again, a bad habit at this point. I wish I could do more for him. All this time, I've prided myself over being the one to always know. Ouch. Because suddenly, aside from Wright and the murders plaguing the city, I have ghosts and curses to worry about, things that are completely out of my depth. Professor Clark's right in some way. Things would be so much easier if we just blamed Luke Wright for all of this. At least finding evidence would be a breeze, and be all too apt to put him in a place he belongs. Although if he was in any way also complicit to what's happening, legalities have my hands tied, and maybe that's my fault. We might have missed the ticket to closing the case once and for all last night, if only I had done a better job during the party. But then the commotion. There was Hannah Wright and Rebecca distracting me from my purpose too, include that gate crasher as well, even though it was only for a moment. So many things have gone wrong last night to that.
This isn't a prank! I saw something! See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys! It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night, at the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
Putting all the pieces together?
It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Shit. If that's what Isabella had been warning us about, it was the same thing Rebecca talked about last night. How many of these instances have I dismissed since reading the letter? How many have I ignored and passed off as some effect of fatigue or lack of sleep? Even last night, a hallucinogen lacing the food is the first thing I considered, purely because that's what my training dictates. It's a mindset I've grown used to. It's the setting the gears in my head automatically takes in a situation like that. Of course, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have enough information, something to form a conclusion from, proof in whatever form it may come. But thinking straight is impossible when all of a sudden all your beliefs are being upturned in the most violent way possible at that. Jesus, I need a sounding board, I need to talk to someone, and Zach's the best person for that.
I have to go, Professor.
Oh, no problem. But what are you...
I don't have time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say as I cut the call short. In the same second, Isabel emerges from her apartment, fully dressed and ready for the day. As usual, she greets me with a smile, but it falls just as fast when she catches a glimpse of my face. Shame, that would have been the first comforting thing I see today. And it annoys me that I'm partially responsible for the worried one replacing it. I must look close to a picture of something choking or dying because there's nothing but concern in the first words she speaks.
Ash, are you... Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, no, I don't, okay? But we should hurry. Come on, don't forget to lock your door.
Seriously, you look like you're about to fall over. Are you alright? Because if you're planning to faint right here, I won't be able to carry you.
Yes, don't mind me. I just remembered some stuff
God damn
from
it,
last
just
night.
tell her on your way there.
I need to talk to Z-Man about this. Mind if we drop by his place first?
Shouldn't we call him? To let him know? It's still pretty early, though we'd probably arrive there around noon. Also, what do you mean about this? Is Zach...
He was also there when I opened the letter, right? He read it too. I'm sure he's fine, but it wouldn't hurt to check on him. To make sure. See if he'll say the same things you told me yesterday.
He's also been seeing things. It's also the same woman I saw last night.
I'm not saying there's really a curse yet, but we have to look at this from every possible angle. And don't worry, he won't mind. He's probably just watching TV right now. Let's go.
Okay, but speak up if you're not feeling well. You really look like you're choking on something. You didn't have to do this for me in the first place.
You know it's not as simple as that.
We head down to my car in a record time with not a single second wasted to hit the road and drive to Zach's place. If any one of us, other than Isabel, who knows anything about what's going on, who can help sort the muddled mess my mind is, it's got to be him. He listened to her. Zach's the kind who prefers to laze around his apartment on a weekend. Big guy nowhere in sight, though, when I arrive to his unit. Figures people don't seem to be where they should be when I need them. Looking around, I find no sign where he might have gone to. He usually leaves a note on his fridge if he's out for the day, just in case someone drops by. As there isn't one, he probably just went out for a quick walk. I hope. Maybe he ran out for eggs or something and went out to buy some? Nah, he went to the mansion and then he got caught for trespassing. Puts my running mind to rest for a while. He's all out of eggs. He's always had some, be it for an omelet or something he's baking.
Ash, should you be rummaging around? It's bad enough we went in here without asking for his permission.
Chill, I'm just looking.
Actually, I could also go for a fucking pie right now, but Zach's fridge is next to empty, save for a few leftovers. All I can do is sigh as I close it behind me.
If you see me take anything, feel free to call the police.
Isabel is quick to shoot me a sharp glare and another chuckle slips from me despite the unease in my stomach. But the cheer only lasts a mere few seconds, mostly because she hasn't been in the mood of any sort of friendly banter. It's a silence that's telling in a quiet Isabella. It's usually the first recipe of an incoming shitstorm.
You always do this whenever you visit another person's house. Because I have a lot of questions about your methods.
Just with Zach.
I'm still worried for our friend, of course, and despite what's bothering Isabella, she's anxious too. She's been standing by the doorway for a few good minutes now since we entered Zach's place. In fact, doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. As much as I want to put her at ease, her nervous tics are starting to get to me. The manner in which she makes herself smaller, the way she fidgets with her hands, clasping them one moment and unfurling in the next. It's distracting enough that I want to ask what's wrong. I doubt she'll give me a straight answer though, and the best I can do is help her temper it.
You don't have to hang around the door. You might be here for a while. You can sit down.
She hesitates for a second, but eventually takes the empty seat by Zach's study table.
Aren't we going to look for him?
Sure, we can, but where are we going to start? I can think of a few places he might be, but Luxburn's a big city. I don't want to miss the big guy if we leave, and...
I trail off, making a vague gesture in the general direction of Zach's bed. The messy bed suggests he was out in a hurry and didn't even bother to fold his sheets. His phone's still there too. His cell phone's been left behind as well, another odd thing when he has made it a habit to never leave it behind in case a client calls.
At least the locked door points to the fact that it wasn't a forced exit.
That seems to reassure her, but not so much. Understandable, anything might happen. In hindsight, I shouldn't have left Rebecca alone either. We'll have to check on her later. In the meantime, Zach, but with no other clue where he is and no other way to contact him, we have no choice but to wait. Sure, I could give the room another thorough run-through, but I don't think Zach would appreciate me appending his place. Isabella wouldn't let me do that either. Besides, I haven't eaten anything yet. Isabella probably hasn't too. We did leave in a hurry. Might as well take the chance to cool down a bit, right? Anything to distract myself that I don't just charge head first because of whatever paranoid scheme that comes to mind. Isabella is with me. I can't be reckless. Returning to the kitchen, the first thing I see is a bag of chips when I rifle through his cupboards. After muttering a permission and apology its owners won't hear, I grab it. Isabella doesn't miss shooting me another glare, but she doesn't really make an effort to stop me this time. She ignores my offer of food though. So instead, I sit myself on Zach's old couch and turn on the television. Isabella's silence might not be too heavy, but it sure as hell is awkward. The screen lights up right as some awful noontime drama starts airing on Channel 9. Nothing like sitting in front of the TV with a mindless drone running in the background to waste away the time. And waste it away we do. The afternoon has hit its last few hours when movement comes from the other side of the door and Zach's heavy treads break them. The monotonous drivel from the TV, the lock clicks, the door turns and slowly swings open to reveal. Very exhausted looking Zach. What, did he run a marathon?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Light as my tone might be, his arrival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad happened to one of my friends. If another minute had gone by without him showing up, I might have resorted to unconventional methods.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And hey, is that my...
It's scary how the friendly banter and easy smile come naturally. I do it even without thinking, and that speaks volumes about how comfortable I am around him. That's nice, isn't it? What makes me afraid of it, however, is the idea that the time might come where I might just do these without even meaning to and offend him in some way. The friendship we have might be closer than most I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other's permission. Zach's been respectful of that so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me, I bet he'd say, not so much. It's also this easy banter that makes me wish we could just stay like this. No worries, no problems, just potato chips and debate on whether or not I deserve them. But as usual, something always cuts moments like this short.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? It's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Although her tone forces him to do a double take, Zach doesn't push it. The question's all too clear in his eyes when he glances my way, though. I really wish I could answer him. Despite my best efforts, Isabel has been unforthcoming as well. What am I supposed to do? I can't just force her to speak, can I? She's not a criminal to be interrogated. She's a friend, for Pete's sake. It's a good thing Zach has a better handle of the situation than I, and soon enough, he changes the subject. Where it leads isn't necessarily the better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She stumbles into one of her uncertain silences again before glancing my way. There's a plea in there for me to take the lead in this, but where do we start? The mansion? The strange things we've been seeing? The letter? Even I'm afraid of what he might say. Can't even believe I'm considering taking a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place, but here I am.
Please don't tell me something happened again.
No, nothing. None so far. And we're keeping it that way as much as possible.
Ash, it's not that easy. This isn't some...
We don't know that. Let me...
Sometimes I amaze myself how much I try for her. But what else can I offer her? I was the one who brushed her off. I was the first one. We've all been given our warnings that day in that desperate pleading tone of hers, and I just stood there, judging her. This is the least I can do, perhaps even make it up to all those other times I've hurt her.
Let me look at this first, okay? I agreed to help, but you've got to let me handle things from now on.
God damn it, Ash.
I already told you everything.
I'm gonna kick your ass in
There
5
must be
seconds.
something we're not seeing in this just yet. We'll sort this out, but no more silly ideas and running around on your own. You're making people worry more than necessary. Becca, especially.
So everything's fine.
Depends on who you're asking. How are things with you? Anything odd?
Good, I guess. Admittedly, how things went down at the housewarming party last night threw me off a bit.
I'm not asking about that. Remember the letter thing Isabella's been yapping on about? I'm asking about that kind of odd.
As expected, Zach starts to look at me like I've grown a second head. Yeah, I would too if there was ever a universe where I was standing in front of myself. Because even as a child, I never believed in ghost stories. The lucky charms and mystical objects from my mother have often been stored away and given as paltry gifts to those who would appreciate them
Well,
more.
the dreams, they're a lot worse than usual. There's a woman now, ever since we saw that letter. I don't know if it's the same one Isabella talked about. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I really don't want to go back to sleep sometimes. Last night was the worst. Anyway, why are you asking about this?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go off on from here? The worried look Zach shoots my way doesn't help one bit in helping me gather my thoughts either. And then, and that's what I've came for. Somehow everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. Dude, I would be too. It's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
And along with Isabella's warnings, what's occurring around Zach, what's happening around Luxport since Isabella found the letter.
Have you two seen the news this morning?
Zach's puzzled expression is enough answer. Of course he hasn't. Another night, another nightmare. The guy most likely went out as soon as he got out of bed to shake the images off. The memories have never really left him. Isabella, though.
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
That could easily mean anything. Did her Quaya, her older brother, end up in jail again? She's had to bail him out numerous times in the past, though all that did was piss her off, not sap out every ounce of cheer in her. Or is that the other brother, the younger one who keeps insisting that he'll quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago, as far as I know. She's already sorted that one out. It couldn't have been her father, right? With the mansion sale, she had earned enough to cover every bill for a while? It should. So what is it then?
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Whatever's bugging her, I doubt it's something meant for a casual discussion, else she would have mentioned it sooner. Tucking my curiosities for later, I take the remote and begin cycling through the channels. A distraction, not a good one I admit, but it'll definitely better than leaving her to brood. Eventually, I find one doing a recap of this morning's report. There it is. Poor guy is unidentifiable by how badly his body's been burnt. Murder via arson, that'd be a logical explanation if it was the officer looking into it. Except they couldn't find the source of the fire. The fire didn't even spread.
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxport police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough if they don't find anything else. But what's important for everyone to note is the state of the room.
A similar writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation. LBN has reached out to the
Like what happened to Cooper. I wonder how many other deaths has been like this I've missed while I've been looking into the rights. The LPD's already thinking it's a serial killer at this point. How long until they consult with the London Metropolitan, I'm not sure. The Anselm Butcher has always been an enigma even to the people within the city. Gone for a few years, then in the next, one body after another is found. Merely handling the case has apparently driven the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now, this time.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
Her words all come out like a whisper, but each syllable lingers in the air, heavy with her guilt. In the thick tension of the room, they strike harsher than any of the things we've said. However, she's also to know that this isn't the only one. She isn't the only one on this. No one has asked her to take this upon herself. Rebecca won't. Zach won't. I sure as hell won't.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Encouragements aside, this is still a whole fucking mess and we're in it blind. The only way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chickens. But I have a concrete plan now, I think. Maybe Isabella's right. Maybe we should dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. However, my suspicions are mine for the moment. The details are something Zach doesn't need to know until I have something to show. It's enough that he's aware that I have an idea in mind. For his part, Z-Man doesn't push it, and nothing but a heavy silence leads our departure hours later. Seriously, Zach would probably make a more responsible officer than me. He can certainly use more kind people like him. But as good as that thought is, I push all of it into the back of my mind as Isabella and I head for my car. Tonight I can't stay distracted, except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabella. Even with only the 2 of us, the place is rife with tense energy. Ticking sound don't take away the edge, and for the 5th time I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and turning the knobs with no real purpose. It's a nervous quirk I've developed, never bothered to correct during stakeouts, something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. What else is there for me to do? The person I usually count on for a casual, out-of-the-blue chat refuses my attempts at starting one.
Ash, out with it! If you have something to say.
The way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes, though, makes me doubt it really means everything she's telling me right now. If she really means. She hasn't even glanced my way since we
Having
arrived.
second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno? You can get in trouble, maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Scope BRC out. If the real estate company has any more information that may be help, find things about Cooper that the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde mansion. According to Isabel, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Sure, I could also check the station for full reports. That's the easy, semi-legal way. But I don't want to bump into Chief right now. The guys at the precinct will definitely throw me out on his orders as soon as they see me. Not that my plan right now is any better. I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will, especially if this might put her in a tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work, almost a model employee, as people would say. Is she throwing caution to the wind
I'm not
now?
an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way. Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the Wrights mansion. As it stands, I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into a realty company? Been here many times before anyways, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I have more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how badly staffed they are. Plus, it's an old building. If the bankruptcy rumors are true, it just means their access protocols might also be outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Yet you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Low blow, I know, but it's worth a shot when she can still turn her back. It's not like I don't have any means to get into the place. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
For a passing second, it seems to work. A hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks to me with searching eyes. Then, unexpectedly, it dissolves, not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. I'm not sure what she sees exactly or what she's hoping to find in the short, while she still holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute later, she simply averts her attention back to the window, training it once again at some point outside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
Ooh, an appeal spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her, perhaps unintentional, perhaps one that's already too exhausted of everything as of late. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that tone, and soon, despite myself, I sigh. Tucking away every concern I've been lugging around in favor of trusting her on this, according her same confidence she implicitly
Alright,
given
okay,
me all this time.
that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you.
Oh my god, shut up, Ashton. Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, although none of the cheer reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Somehow that uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intended it as some kind of comforting gesture. Whether it's for me or for her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car while scribbling and chasing after her. Excuse me. She's already at the side entrance, a hand raised to the car holder beside it and another poised to push the door open when I catch up to her. Whatever doubt there has been in her face a while ago, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, that things might go smoothly this time.
And where do you think you kids are going? It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
The bloke seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell from his voice alone. He might be the wary sort for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and aloof air won't hurt until I've figured out how to wiggle us out of this situation.
Just come back on Monday if you have important business.
But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a problem. Probably been working here for a few months already then, maybe around 4 to 6 months max. Otherwise, he would have recognized Isabella or me at first glance. I haven't shown my face here since I've been assigned to the firm case a year ago. In the first place, none of their security officers ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired and finds a better paying job. In the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a
Seb?
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough!
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time. Sanchez!
You were closer the first time?
Drat, I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. This geezer's not going to last past this month. I can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time. Centillon?
Ooh.
Still a ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night.
I know, just let me handle this.
Alright, I'm gonna
Sorry,
let her do
Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good.
Sweet.
Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
Who, me?
My what?
Your boyfriend. The guy with you, isn't he?
No. It is a fair observation if I do say so myself. Ha! Needless to say, the silence that ascends is both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. Although the latter's probably coming mostly from me, because in the next second, Isabella laughs. Laughs. Lighter than the ones I've heard from her lately, a comforting sound really after seeing her in such a dour mood since this morning. Even as all of the subtleties in a mere chuckles sooner than I'd like. It's comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it, despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp.
Oh. Oh, no! No. He's definitely not my boyfriend.
She might as well have set it on fire and reduced it to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in that sentence alone is a bit too much. Christ, one would have been enough to get the message across. Did she really have to put it that way? Yeah, because she's not into me.
That's impossible! Stop being funny, Seb. I'll go on ahead, okay?
She quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, leaving me in even more awkward atmosphere for me to fade through. Would have been bearable if it didn't have to suffer through a stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is
Not
me.
the boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Mind your own business.
Ooh.
Kids these days. Good to see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
Excuse me?
You know, stuff in the news.
You mean what happened with Rose Cooper?
I'm going to be stuck here with him for a while. I might as well try to gather as much intel as I can. He may just be a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time, people like him are the ones who know more than they let on.
Yeah, but even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Really? Those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
Dunno, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here. Oh, seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy. Figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Ansem, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke shouting like no tomorrow again. Wasn't very pleased when Gurley called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Gurley? Isabella?
It's not too surprising, considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another? Not that it's a bad thing. It's within her rights as an employee, but Isabella rarely uses her work leaves.
Yeah, poor lassie if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all. The least he could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Wait, what?
The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper, missing in action employees, all of it ceases to matter in that instance. Almost on instinct, my eyes zero in on the intercom speaker as if staring daggers. It will show me the man behind the voice so I can see the truth in his face myself.
Oh, you don't know?
No, what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and, you know, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say.
I want to hear it.
Why don't you just go after her? As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
He's like, I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I were someone with ill intentions, he might not be smiling at the end of the day.
Well, no, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Hey, wait a second. What do you mean by...
He cuts off the connection before I can finish, and the rest of my question dies in my throat. Soon the latches click and the side door swings open. Seb, a stout man wearing a uniform still too loose for him, waves me over from the gap before he disappears. Just my luck here. I thought I'm going to have to count on whatever Isabella brings with her. Although, no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else has already taken a firm seat in the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Since when? Of course, as I step into the building, I try to push all these questions as far down as I can. I need to focus. Work is work. But if what I've heard exactly is what I think it is, it's a sign of things to come. Honestly, I don't feel too good about that. It's a quiet ride up the 7th floor where the BRC Luxborn main office is. Seb has been kind enough to switch the guest elevator power on just as I'm about to head for the fire exit stairs. Which is a welcome relief. I'm an active guy, but stairs? I don't want to tire out too quickly in case things get ugly. They're probably won't be any trouble with the building this quiet, but you never know. I swear the whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. But until I've confirmed anything, that these are just stories, worse things can happen. No need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes. Ooh. Ooh, things are getting intense, guys. We're gonna save that. We're gonna save that for the next episode. Ooh, shit's about to go down real hard. Interesting. Well, I hope, you've been watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see everybody for the next episode where shit will absolutely go down. See y'all later.